What is poetry? Poetry means something that is very beautiful or graceful. That could be a lot of different things. It could be a majestic view of some sorts. But I like poetry. I love the words of poetry. I love what poetry stands for. I love to rhyme here, there, everywhere. These are some of my favorite poets, and one of the things that I can say about each and every one of these poets is that they always say something different to me. I always feel a different vibe whenever I read these poems from each and every one of these poets, and I would like to share some of my views with you. I read poetry. Poetry usually makes me feel good. It releases me from whatever troubles that I'm going through during my day. And then not only that, when I read poems from some of the great poets, Frost, Robert Frost, Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes, Amari Baraka, Ezra Pound, Pablo Neruda, Walt Whitman. I can go on and on about many of the great poets that we have out there. But when I read their poetry, I read into their souls, and I like to know what they're thinking. And usually when they write various poems, it gives me some insight as to what they're thinking about and what it is that they enjoy. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be Nika Giovanni. It could be, anybody. It could be someone who just enjoys writing poems. I've always loved to write words and rhyme, mixing different words with there and care and share. You enjoy these poems. I usually enjoy these poems. I'll read them in my bedroom or read them on my couch, listen to some nice music while I read the poetry, or just read it just in general. Maybe I'll go to the library and just sit and read poems for hours. And then it was always fun to write poems, to mix those words and to write how you felt about certain things. It's funny, when I was in college and I took took the poetry class, the creative writing poetry class, the things that I discovered was that it's a lot of words out there, and it's always good to mix things and to express pride and express joy and peace. To discuss your everyday or the mundane sometimes. You can express yourself with words, and make them joyous, but as well as creative. And it's funny, I listen to all types of music. And, the one thing I can say is that, when you listen to music, it is poetry. You know, it adds beats and rhythms. You know, so whether it be hip hop, you know, R&B, classical music, rock music, you know, alternative, you know, there's some forms of poetry that's attached to the music. The thing is that you enjoy it with these different beats and rhythms and tones. You know, even playing sports is poetry. You know, you look at some of these athletes when they go to the hoop, they slam dunk it, or they'll spin, they'll pirouette, ballet. In some cases, is poetry. You know, the everyday is poetry. You know, coming in to work, you're going to hear all types of noises. You'll hear people talking. You'll hear machines running. You'll hear people on the phones. You'll hear computers. You know, getting in your car, you're driving, you have traffic. You may listen to your car radio. You know, that's poetry. You know, I look at the everyday thing as poetry. You know, hearing the baby cry in the morning, feeding the baby, getting ready for school, you know, washing your face, brushing your teeth, taking a bath, taking a shower. It's all forms of poetry. You know, cooking food, making breakfast, going to the bus, the children playing, the children singing, children being loud, being noisy. You know, that's poetry. You know, and one of the things that I love to do is I love to mix, you know, sounds with the words and create different things. You know, you know, it's funny. I always looked at poetry as being something comical, and it is. Or you can be angry, and it's poetry. It's just about how you carry it, or how you carry yourself, or how you carry your words. You know, going on an interview for a job can be poetic. You know, hence the term poetic justice sometimes. You know, to sit down to read, stand up and read, go to a coffee house and read, or a tea house, or go to the mall, you know, sit down and read. You know, for me, I enjoy reading it anywhere. I enjoy listening to it anywhere, referring to poetry. You know, and I basically love sharing my poetry with people.